Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to have a Honda Civic 2015 I-Dtec 1.6 diesel. So really good car, extremely fuel efficient, very good car to drive. But the servicing's a bit of a pain. So we're going to change the fuel filter. Now normally you'd expect the fuel filter to be on the top of the engine or thereabouts. Some have got them on the back, on the sides, but this is right pretty much there, I think, under the engine. Looking at these, it's got two bolts, moisture sensor there, and two oil pipes there, fuel pipes, sorry. And I can tell straight away these are going to be fun to get off, because I've changed the oil on this car and it was really awkward to get to. It's actually quite easy to get to, just awkward to take or to remove, because it's so tight. This I know is even worse, so I'm going to have a go at this today. Pretty straightforward, take it off, fill it, bleed it back again, and you're on the road again. So let's take a look at where it is. Yeah. Yes, I've taken this off. All of the axle screws is rounded completely, so we are going to have to move you to this side. There you go. I can do this. You can probably see better. Okay, so the fuel filter is let's have a look. Got to be here somewhere. Holy moly. Right, never easy. Right, so the fuel filter is, not sure you can even see that. I'll put you on the floor. Let's have a look 1 second. Let's try and see what you're seeing. Right, so the fuel, the fuel filter's in there. Jeez. So what I think we might do is take this oil filter plate off, the guard plate. Take it off to get a bit more access. And there's a moisture sensor at the bottom. So that should come off. This is one of those jobs that's going to be really hard without ramp, because you haven't got enough room to play with. So it's a 10mm. Yeah, so it's two 10mm, which I've actually got ready just in case. In fact, I might manage to work without taking this cover off. God, that's going to be fun, Jesus Christ. Right, let's have a look. So, not long enough. Right, so I can fit, but I've got the wrong ratchet. I've got a broken ratchet and I've used that one by mistake. So let's change ratchet, chuck this in the bin. Let's get it going. And we need clips. The sensor should just come off. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Can't really see what the camera's seeing. So, yeah, you can see. Right, so there's. I've got glasses on, but I highly recommend you wear safety goggles, because you're hitting the ratchet against the car and loads of dirt dropping on your eyes. So. If I'm not mistaken, there's only 2 bolts to take off. I've also got a stainless steel container ready, just to try and catch any fuel so it doesn't come in my face. But this is the most awkward fuel filter I've ever done, ever. Surely Honda can do better than this. So I've done 22,000 miles in a year in this car. In fact, it'll be more than that. And I think it's recommended every 30,000 if I'm not mistaken. So it's always best to check. Absolute ball ache of a job. I mean, who would put a fuel filter right on top of a shaft? Crackers, absolute crackers. Right. The best thing to do with that one, send me a picture of the building sheet. Or the leg. Yeah, I am doing for you. What kind of garage is it? Okay. Clips are off. Christ almighty. Oh, where's the garage at? Stockton or something? Or Newcastle? Yeah, where's the garage at Swindon? You want to see? Yeah, I'll put it back for it. Come on. Okay, so oh, bastard. Yeah, that hit him in the face. Never mind. Right, next one. Now, I always recommend working with gloves, but I'll tell you, when I'm trying to turn this, I'm pulling my glove across, it's really irritating. But I'll bear with it because I'm working with fuel, so. Okay, that one missed. Good. Okay, so that's the fuel filter should be loose. Let's figure this out. 1 second, let's have a look. So I can see there's a clip at the top which needs to come off. We can disconnect the sensor. Not sure how that disconnects actually. Let's have a look. And then there's a fuel lines. Oh, yeah. See, the problem is it's not a technically hard job, but you can't get your hands in anywhere. So you're not going to see anything whilst I'm doing this, but so I'm just trying to feel how the clip comes off for the sensor. Can't quite see how that disengages. Let's have a look. Okay, so oh, this is awkward. Ah, okay, there it is. Yeah, so if you look on this side, you've got a push clip there. You've got a push clip there. So how are we going to get that off? Oh, there it is. Okay, that wasn't too bad actually. So I've put it from the top, disconnected, so now the fuel filter should be free, apart from those hoses that are connected on top. Now I've got two options. I can either try... God, there's no room, is there? Jesus. I'll show you what I mean. So this is the new fuel filter. These are on top, but the filter's that way. So if I take the sensor off, loads of fuel is going to come straight in my face, which is a given anyway, I think. If I try and turn this sideways to try and disconnect these, I'm going to get wet. I think I'm going to get wet anyway, to be honest. But at the time, oh, loads of crap's falling in my face. For the time being, the unit is sealed, so we can turn it either way. So I'm going to try and turn it sideways just to see if I can get the best option would be to get those fuel clips off. Cool, man. This is crazy tight. I can't even see them. There's space there, so I could push it towards the back of the engine. Well, the back of the vehicle, the car, really. Okay, is that any better? Right. Okay, this is a difficult one because you can't get your hands in anywhere. And what I'm worried about, to be honest, if I get these fuel hoses off, how am I going to get it back on again? Oh, great. Spring clips as well. Awesome. Yeah, so two things to be careful of here. I've got to get those off. Long nose pliers, no great deal, I guess, but make sure I get them on the same orientation. Extremely important. Problem is, how do I get to them? Because they are pretty short. Good God, man. It's a bit crap, isn't it? Yeah, that's not working, is it? Wow. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, I think I'm going to buy a head torch because I'm always struggling to work and holding the torch at the same time, which is really irritating. So I think that's my next goal. Right, so let's have a look. How on earth are they meant to come off? I wonder if I can open there. Okay, what I'm just seeing now is I'm just trying to look because I can't. It's really tight for space. My God, honestly, really tight for space. I can't go to the left because the gearbox is in the way. But if I go to the right, so I'm looking. You can't see this, but I'm looking this way. If I take the wheel off and the wheel arch, I might be able to get better access to it and take these off safely. Because at the moment, I honestly can't see. I'm trying to push it to the back to rest it like that. Yeah, so as you can see, they're going to be rock hard to get off because I can take the clips off with long nose pliers, but getting those hoses off is a different thing altogether. And they've got no give in them at all. Yes, that's going to keep happening as well. Okay, guys, let's take the wheel off and let's have a look from the side. Okay, so potentially, as you can see that, let's have a look. Try and get it in a bit closer. Okay, so potentially I can't get it from there. But the problem I've got is the car is jacked up, so I've got my car on the jack. I always put a wheel underneath as well. On the other side, I've got the jack, and I've also the axle stand, sorry, and I've also got the floor jack as well. But if anything goes wrong, that's taking my hands off. So, not really too keen on that option. Likelihood of the car falling, very, very minimal, to be fair. But I'm not sure I even can. Let me just see if I can even get my hands in there, to be fair. Just have a look. Not even sure if I can anyway, to be honest. No. Oh, Okay, I'm going to go back underneath again. I can grab the filter quicker, easier this way, but I can only get one hand in, so I'm still kind of stuck. God, there must be an easy way to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go underneath again. I'm just going to check because those fuel lines, more than likely they'll have a clip somewhere, which means I can take the clip off, which will give me more give on the fuel lines. I think that's the best. Yeah, that's the next best thing, I think. Not very user friendly, is it? Right. Yeah, I'm not taking the shaft off, not to change a fuel filter, no chance. So, yeah, so if you can see from here, see there, hang on, 1 second. So there's a fuel filter there, and I've got a lot more movement to grab hold of it when I go through here. But it's still very difficult because those hoses are going to be quite tight to get on, and that's what I'm a bit worried about. As soon as I disconnect those, I'm not going anywhere if I get them back on again. So let's have a look from underneath the car again, even though it looks really difficult, to be honest. Okay. Hey guys, okay, so as you can see, this is now my hand. The car's out, the car's just over there. It's all ready. What happened was my battery was going flat, and I had sold a treadmill, so someone was going to pick the treadmill up. So I was really rushing, and I really struggled. I couldn't film and do it with one hand; it was impossible. Okay, so I've installed it. I'll tell you exactly what I've done. So you saw the part up to when I was taking it off. Quite straightforward. What I have done is, just for next time, so I took these bolts off first. So I've taken those, both 10 mils, taken those off, lowered the locator pin, that's not a problem. Then I left the sensor connected to the actual filter housing, but I've disconnected the sensor. That was straightforward enough. Then I turned it upside down, so it's still dripping. So I turned it upside down because turning it upside down was the only way I could release these clips. So from underneath the car, I've released the clips. It always helps if you have the proper pliers for those, like spring clips, so to speak, or hose clips. I have a set, but I left them at home, unfortunately. So I used a set of long nose pliers. So I took the clips off. That was straightforward, but I didn't have enough strength to take the hose off because you kind of like this underneath. So the only way I could find to take the hoses off, which was actually real easy, was from the driver's side passenger. So you saw me in the video. Take the wheel off, and you gain access from there and just pull the hoses off. They came on quite well. One came off straight away. One wasn't that easy, but a bit of wiggling, it came off. And then the filter was out. That was actually the easy part, ironically. So once it was out, what I've done then is I've taken the retainer clip off from the side, and then I've taken I think it's a moisture sensor, the sensor that goes on the bottom, and that just basically it's threaded, so just unscrew that. The new filter does come with an O-ring, so I've changed the O-ring, wet the O-ring again, very important so it doesn't crack. And then I've left that off. This was still full of fuel, even though they're open, there's still a fair bit of fuel in it. And all I've done is I've taken the new filter, I've covered these two holes, and I've poured this fuel into the new filter, just to remove any air pockets as much as possible. Once I've put the new fuel in the new filter, I've put the sensor back on the other filter, screwed it back on again, clipped in the center of the clip, turned it upright again. Now this was a really hard part, so I really, honestly, I really struggled with this. Okay, so then I located it back underneath the car. I managed to get the hoses back on again. That wasn't a problem. putting the clips on, my God, that was quite difficult because it's not a hard job, but you've got no access. Again, if you had those, I'm not sure what they're called, the hose clip pliers. It's like a pair of pliers with a long cable on the end and like a clamp. If you have those, it's going to be way easier. But again, the only way I could put the hoses on, or the easiest way, was from the wheel arch, so in reverse order. So I put those back on again, got the hoses on, got the clamps on, no problem. But putting these back on again, it was almost impossible. So what I've had to do is, I've had to change the original, I think they were M8s, change the original bolts that were here, get 2-inch bolts, put it in place, because then you could kind of locate it, screw them in, and then as you were screwing it in, just when it was a bit tight, just locate it in place so the locator pin goes in properly, and then it was a doddle. But that was that was ironically the hardest part of the whole job, which I think would be the easiest part, but it's very limited access. There is like a shield on the oil filter, which if I had to do it again, I'd probably take that off just for a bit more access. Yeah, so basically I've done that, so it was filled already. Because I've put it upright, it hasn't leaked anywhere. I've installed it and I've cycled the ignition 3 times. So I've turned the ignition on, turned it off, turned it on, turned it off, turned it on, turned it off, without pressing the accelerator pedal. Just doing that, fired the car up, and the car fired up straight away. Smooth as anything. And I'll tell you, that car's really smooth. And it sounded like a brand new engine. It was just purring away, even on the revving, just like nice and quiet. Absolutely, it sounds fantastic now. What I am keen to see is, it was always doing 70 to 75 miles per gallon. And I recently changed the tyres to some Kumo tyres. When I did that, the miles per gallon dropped to about 60-65 if I'm lucky. So I'm not sure why. However, I had done a service on the car and I hadn't changed this, because I looked through it and I thought, that's going to be really hard work. So I've left it. And today I'm like, it's a weekend, let's get it done. So I'm really keen to see if the miles per gallon goes up when I go out to work tomorrow. So fingers crossed it is going to go up again. Yeah, but that's about it. Is it something I'd like to do again? Hopefully not, but I'm going to have to in 20,000 miles, maybe 30,000 miles. Well worth doing, but I'd say if you're going to do this, make sure you have your tools ready. You don't need the car for a couple of hours because it can be a nightmare of a job. And be very, very patient, because I wasn't. I can tell you, this was the hardest filter I've ever done in my life in a car. You'll see some videos I'm going to post shortly about working on a mini DPF. This was way harder. Oh my God, because there's no space. But yeah, 10, 15 pounds I think it was. I can't remember how much it was. Very, very cheap, but well worth doing. Also, another point is, I forgot to weigh it, unfortunately. However, this is really heavy. Now that tells me that it's actually gunked up inside with dirt. I'm really tempted to cut it in half to see how dirty it is inside, but I can't really be bothered, to be fair. But it'd be interesting to see, but it is really heavy, which tells me it is actually dirty inside compared to the new one. I know there's still a bit of fuel in there, potentially, there's a couple of drops in there, but it shouldn't be this heavy. So that tells me that it is actually gunked up. So that's another interesting one. So I think I'll change this. At 20,000 miles tops, I think that I'll change this again, definitely. That's it, guys. Have a good day. See you in the next video.